when we're talking about branding, we're talking about a couple of things. We're not just talking about the logo, you know, the colors, the style, even though that is one part of it, okay? And in your branding, it should reflect your ideal clients plus your personality plus your values.
This is the Business Owners Smashing It Online podcast for entrepreneurs and business owners looking for cool online tools, apps and strategies to make business easy online. My name is Nick Cree and I'm your host. Each episode features a guest expert demystifying the online universe, sharing inspirational ideas and providing tested real-world strategies to help you get the most of what's available online to grow your business today. Don't be a slave to your business, get your business working for you. Subscribe now and get some great content and ideas for you and your business today. All right, well, that brings me through to our favorite part of the evening, which is introducing Steph Gobraiel. So Steph is going to talk to us tonight about the 7 proven strategies to elevate your business online and to maximize your success. So for those of you that don't know Steph, she is what they call an online business manager. If you haven't heard about that before, she's probably going to tell you about that when she starts talking about what she does. But virtually, she's the sort of person that runs your business part-time when you haven't got time to do it, and make sure that everything is running smick and smoothly, make suggestions about what you should be doing in business to ensure that vehicle is running well so that you can be more profitable and also not spend your weekends and your evenings running your business as well too. She has come from a corporate background. She has been an executive assistant to high-level corporate managers. She worked in companies like Westpac, CPA Australia, and Intel. She holds a diploma in business administration and management. And as an OBM, she does help small businesses create effective habits to run their businesses more effectively. And it's all about streamlining business operations and business processes. So she has also been an award winner as well too. So she obviously practices what she preaches. So she has won awards in the Australian Small Business Championship Awards, Solopreneur of the Year for the Local Business Awards, Women's Organisation category of 2022 and the Australian Small Business Champion Awards, Solopreneur category in the 2022 Raw Awards. So I dare say there's probably more awards in there that she'll be entering and winning as well too, because I know she's just so good at what she does. She also contributes to a UK newspaper as a guest columnist. So without further ado, I would like to introduce you to and bring to the stage Steph. So welcome along, Steph. Let's give her a big round of applause to welcome her on board.
Thank you so much, Nick. Oh my goodness. I don't know where to go with that. Well, thank you everyone for joining tonight, and I hope you can get out of it at least one thing. You get one big takeaway from tonight's presentation. But it's not just me presenting. As Nick mentioned, it's going to be a workshop. So I'm going to pop in the chat a Google link that you need to open and download or save a copy of, because as we go through the presentation tonight, that is what you'll need to be sort of making notes in and referring to. So I'm just going to bring up my presentation and we will dive straight in. All right, let me share. Whoop. Right, 2 seconds. Share. Okay. So, as Nick mentioned, tonight we're talking about the 7 proven strategies to elevate your business online, but I like to call them the business foundations. And from my 4 years plus in business, this is what I found are the foundations that you need in business. So let's get started. So just a real quick agenda. We're going to talk about each foundation we're going to talk about each foundation in business, as mentioned, the next steps, and then I'm going to quickly mention my business foundations health check. We can go, as I go through, you're welcome to ask questions, or you can wait till the end. It's completely up to you. And then we'll do the lucky door prize. So let's get started. So I love visuals, and this is how I look at the business foundations. If you think of like a house or a shop front, the very first thing you need is, you know, the steel frame and the concrete, and then you build on it. It's the same way in business. So here are the 7 business foundations that I have come to know, like, maybe not so like, and grow with. And this is what we're talking about tonight. So we're talking about the branding, the services, the marketing, the website. It's not just business systems, it's the processes, systems and automation, the networking and your business profile. As Nick said, I practice what I preach in order to, you know, to show that it works, you know, and this is what you can be doing for your business as well. So let's get started. Has everyone got access to the activity sheet before I go on? Yeah, everyone's okay with that? Okay. Okay, the first one. Now, your branding. Okay, so when we're talking about branding, we're talking about a couple of things. We're not just talking about the logo, you know, the colors, the style, even though that is one part of it. Okay, and in your branding, it should reflect your ideal clients plus your personality plus your values. And the reason why I say that is because when I first started my business, sorry, just one second, my daughter's asking. Sorry about that. So as I was saying, your branding is essentially, you know, one part is, you know, your logo, your, you know, your colors and all of that. And it should reflect your ideal clients plus your personality. So when I started my business, because I didn't have friends or family in the small business space, it reflected a very corporate look and feel. So what did I attract? I attracted corporate clients. And I was like, what is going on? You know, like, these are not the sort of clients that I want now. Until I worked with a business coach, I understood the process and what I needed to do. Now, values are really important in your branding as well. And the reason for this is because, you know, for example, one of my values is family. So it rubs some people the wrong way when I tell them my daughter is sick, and my daughter's quite young, so she still needs a bit of hands-on, you know, that extra support. That bothered them. So that's why values are so important, to highlight what's important in your business and in your life, so that it could be a mutual respect. The flip side of it, and that's what creates the customer's perception of your business at the end of the day, right? And the flip side of the coin is building your personal brand. And that may be, for example, because I come from the corporate world, I came across a lot of boys clubs. So in the small business world, I found that I can be supporting women, and the sky's the limit. And I love empowering women in business. So what I do, for example, is I run a networking event. So I'm a host for She Will Shine in Sydney. And what that is simply is bringing women in business together to, you know, just to connect, have some morning tea or lunch, and really just, you know, have other connections and build on those connections in business. That's my way of giving back, and that's part of building my personal brand. Another thing I've done, I've co-authored a book to give back to mums starting out in business, because, you know, when you have a baby and you start a business, it's like they say about children, they don't come with manuals, and neither does your own business. It's not a one size fits all. So it's so important to sort of, you know, to be able to find your way, you know, through it all. And as Elon Musk says, branding is just a perception, and perception will match the reality over time. That is such a powerful quote. So I have added a few quotes along the way. So think about your branding, think about the clients it draws in. Is it, your ideal client? Is it the type of, business owners you want to work with? There are over 2.5 million small businesses in Australia alone. I know we got someone from the Philippines. I'm not sure about the stats in the Philippines, but just to say Australia alone, there is 2.5 million small businesses out there. So this is why your branding is so important in business. Your services. Okay. So these are some questions I want you to ask yourselves about your services. And one of the joys of running your own business is you get to choose what services you want to offer, right? There is no one there telling you you can or you can't offer this and offer that. But let's be crystal clear on something. When you don't love a service offering, and I'm guilty of this, I have one in my suite that I have on my list to change down the road. It's going to show, right? You're not going to promote it and you're not going to talk about it. And that's something that I'm doing with this one service offering. I don't talk about it a lot and I don't promote it because I don't love doing it, but that's okay, right? So this is the great thing about owning your own business. You run the show, so you get to decide what you want to offer. So have a think about your services, and these 3 questions when you're filling in the activity. Is this all making sense? I hope this is all making sense. And no questions at the moment. Great, I got the thumbs up. Okay, let's keep going. Website. Now, this is one of the things I'm so passionate about because I always hear people say, do I need a website? Okay, yes, you need a website. Okay, no matter where anyone finds you, whether it's through networking, whether it's through your socials, the one thing that person is going to do when they're done seeing you wherever they've seen you, either online or face to face, they are going to go and look at your website. And that is going to be one of the key and most important things that is going to create this first impression for these people. Okay. Now, yes, we go to sleep at night, but the other side of the world is going to be awake at that time. So that is the reason why your website promotes you 24/7. And if there's one thing in business that I tell people that should be organic, you should be investing, a portion of your money in is your website, because your messaging might change, your services might change, the things you're doing. So the 6 things that you see here, I've only done in the last year. Okay. So it's so important to build that credibility, and that can be done by adding these things to your website. And here are okay. So one question that I ask you is, when was the last time you updated your copy, checked to make sure your links were working, all of that sort of functionality of your website? And here's a few more questions to add to it. Does it clearly tell people what you do, who you do it for, and what problems you solve? Is your website easy to navigate? Is it easy to find out more about you? And does your website look and feel like the brand that you are trying to put out there? Number 4 is marketing. Okay, now marketing is a very big playing field, and I know we got some marketing, experts in the room. But today I just want to talk about one core element of marketing. Okay, and that starts with your marketing strategy. And the reason why you start with your marketing strategy is because it helps you plan ahead, it helps you stay consistent, and it helps you stopping from posting on an ad hoc basis, okay? Which then creates consistency. So then when your ideal clients are watching you, or people are watching you, you're going to stay front of mind for them, and they are going to associate you with what you want to be known for sooner than later. So how do we do this? So the main core thing that drives this is the marketing driver. This is what I call it, right? It could be your blog, it could be your podcast, it could be your YouTube channel. Okay. This can then be broken down into social media posts. This can then be added to your newsletter. And at the same time, this is great for SEO, which is working through your website as well, because you keep updating it, right? So just by that alone, you're creating consistency by planning ahead your social media and, you know, these other areas in marketing. Now, we're not covering paid ads. We're not covering all of that, but all of this content can be repurposed for different areas in your business, which is gold. So the questions here. So the questions I want to ask you about your marketing is, does my marketing showcase my services in a way that speaks to my customers? Am I distributing my marketing in places where clients are actually, you know, hanging out, right? If your clients are more LinkedIn clients, they might not be on Instagram, or they might not be on Facebook, and that's okay, right? We don't have to be everywhere. I think we've got to look at where our target audiences are hanging out, so to speak. And does my marketing help me connect with clients in a personal way, right? The connection, you know, people buy from people. People don't buy from what we sell, right? So that we've got to build that know, like, trust factor. Otherwise, it's not going to go anywhere. So once people start watching, and we all know this, right? People watch, it doesn't mean they like, it doesn't mean they comment, it doesn't mean any of that. But they will watch, and they will keep watching you until that one post or whatever it is connects with them. And then they're like, okay, maybe it's time for me to reach out to this person. So it is very important to not overlook these areas in marketing. Okay. Next area is networking. So I always say this to potential clients and my current clients. Business is about the long game. It's nothing really happens overnight. Rome wasn't built in a day. Okay. And it's all about building those rapports and those relationships, because it might not be them, but it might be someone they know that might need your service down the road. Right. And it's about the human connection there, again, as I've mentioned again. So one mistake I made last year, I had a lot of referral work. So I didn't do a lot of networking because I thought I don't need to, right? But when that referral work dried up, that's when I fell on my own sword. And I realized that by not networking, I haven't built these relationships in order to reach out to people, to have conversations, or to do any of that. And another great way to audit your networking is to also write down all the groups that you're part of, your paid groups that you're part of. And the reason why I say that is because after a year or so, it's important to check, you know, what's come out, you know, what has come out of, you know, you being part of that group. Has there been potential leads? Have you just gained business buddies? What is it? What is the outcomes from you being in that group? Because sometimes people get comfortable, and when we get comfortable, it's not always the best thing for our business, right? It could be great for ourselves, but for our business, it's not always the best thing to do. And are you networking, you know, where your potential clients could be? Okay. The next one is business profile. So until last year, I always thought that, you know, I always thought that you only get nominated for awards. I had this very corporate mentality. And then I realized that, you know, by building your branding, your services, your website, your marketing, your network foundations, once they're sorted, that's the right time to be really putting yourself and your business out there. Why? Because you want people sharing, you know, your website, who you are, what you do, all of this sort of thing. And it's a great way to amplify your business. And that's the reason why we do it. And it builds credibility for your business as well. So here are some examples. So you could apply for awards, speaking at conferences, business networks like this, being a guest on relevant podcasts or articles, and you don't know where it could lead. This is the exciting thing, right? Does it mean you might have to step out of your comfort zone? Absolutely. I definitely stepped out of my comfort zone by doing this. But we are, you know, we have to be front and center for our business, and it does build credibility. And it also builds that know, like, trust factor, right? Like, there is nothing more important in business than building those three things with our potential audience. Now, I want to throw something out there. Has anyone heard of Source Bottle? No. Okay, I've got some thumbs up. I've got some heads, shakes of the heads. Okay, so Source Bottle, for those who don't know, is where journalists, TV, anything media related, go and post. So what I want you to do, if you haven't signed up to Source Bottle, I want you to go to sourcebottle.com.au and so just sourcebottle.com, and it's got pink branding. You won't miss it. Sign up to it. And what Source Bottle does is every day, it's free. Every day they send out 2 emails about people they want to speak to. This could be, you know, from small businesses to, you know, parents struggling with interest rates, whatever it is. They send out 2 emails a day, one around 10 a.m. and one around 3 p.m. And I scan them every day to see if there is anything that is related to my business. And then you apply for it. It's free, sort of thing. So this sort of stuff, it's these small steps that you take that can really help build that credibility of your business. So that was sourcebottle.com. So you just create a free account and, you know, away you go. That's how I became a UK column writer for business for 6 months. That's where I was found, sort of thing, through Source Bottle. So, you know, it can create all sorts of opportunities for you. There's 4 things in the chat. Yeah, great. Thanks, Nick. Okay. So the next one, so that's your business profile. Right. The next one is business systems, but I prefer to talk about the processes, systems, and the automation, which can come later. I think 2 of the most important things are your processes and your systems in business. So, you know, there is no one size fits all when it comes to systems and processes. I genuinely believe every business is as different as our personalities, right? No 2 people have the same experience and, you know, all of that sort of thing. So, you know, your processes and your systems go hand in hand, okay? So what usually comes first is your processes, because that's the what and the how, okay? So by doing that, you can then implement into your systems, because with your systems alone, you can't really, you know, you could be doing ad hoc things, but that's it. Like, I spoke to someone last week and they said to me, I've got my systems in place and they want to automate. And I said, well, what about your processes? Because here's the thing with processes, okay? It not only helps you outline and create a standard operating procedures document, which is pretty much your processes document. What it does is that if someone else comes into your business, you can hand that document over and then they'll be able to know what the processes are, right? So by building this, I'll give you a little shortcut that I've used and has worked. I recorded myself in Zoom or, you know, whatever recording, you know, system you want to use, and talk through the process. And I created a flow chart. And then what I did was I transcribed that. And that was your first draft of your processes. Okay. So again, what I did was I created a flow chart in Miro, which is like, just a visual board, which is free. And I spoke through the process, I recorded it, and then I transcribed it. And there's your first draft. Now, again, none of this is going to happen overnight. It takes time, but even if you dedicate some time to it, it will build, okay? And then you've got your systems which go hand in hand with your processes. So when we get to the system stage, if you are, paying for a system, are you utilizing it to the best of its capabilities? Have you spent time to see what more it can take of you instead of you trying to do something manually? And again, these things take time, and you don't have to do it all. This is why people outsource, right? Because this is where people specialize as well. So out of all of these foundations, and then you can automate. So with the automation side of things, it's the things that, that are repetitive and that keep happening sort of thing. And then you can automate them with something called Zapier. That's what I use. I use Zapier if you want to automate. And that talks to the systems in order to do things for you. It just automates things, So for example, if you want to put a, from communication channel called Slack in, if you want to put a task in, you can set that up so that it goes into your PM tool, whatever tool you use. Okay, so they are the 7 foundations in business. So I would love to know, does anyone know what all of these foundations have in common? I'm just going to bring up this slide for a second. Does anyone want to take a stab at what all of these foundations have in common? No? Nick, do you want to take a stab?
What do they all have in common? They're all administrative services. They're not what you're doing out in terms of delivery. Is
that your final answer?
That'll do.
Okay.
I know it's not what you're going to tell me now.
That's okay. That's okay. So all of these foundations have one silent denominator in common, and that is sales. Okay, because sales will come from the branding that you build for yourself. The sales will come from the services, your website, your marketing, your business profiling, your networking, and your business systems. So on your activity sheet, where the question mark is down the very bottom, that's meant to say sales, but I didn't want to give the answer away. So what I want you to do, and this is the next step. Okay. So the next step is to review everything you've written down in each foundation. And then that might make it a little bit more clear as to, what areas of your business might need more attention, love, and energy, right? And then, after you do that, the second thing you can do is evaluate, how many sales have come from your marketing? How many sales have come from, the different areas in your business? And then that will give you some insight as well to, what's working, what's probably not working as well as it should be. And again, where you might need to spend some time, or you and your team need to spend some time on. Does all of that make sense? I know it's a lot. Yeah, okay. Okay, so on the back of that, I have created a Business Foundations health check. So this is on my website, and I'll pop it in the chat at the end. And it's a series of questions talking about, the different areas, and in relation to like structure, all of that sort of thing, time, everything to do with it. So if you'd like to take it, you're more than welcome to take it. And it will give you an outcome, and then I will email you a summary of what that outcome is. So that's a great way to also, so that sort of is complementary with the business foundations in business. Yeah. Are there any questions? You can come off mute if that's easier.
All right, I've just dropped that link there into chat so that if anyone wants to go and grab that that assessment there, it is in chat for you to go and grab it. And yes, if any questions there, just unmute yourself or drop it into chat, and let's start that discussion. And I actually had a couple of questions anyway, Steph. With all of the businesses that you work with, there's probably some common things, I would imagine, that common issues or common areas where businesses are weakest or where they really fall down. And what are some of those common areas, and what are some of the things that you do to be able to fix those up?
Okay, so one of the common things that I see with business owners is they don't make time to work on their business. So the client work is, gets 95% of the week's time. And then there's 5%, if that, getting spent on the business. But what people also need to understand is, looking after their own business is as important as looking after other people's businesses.
And so is that time that is scheduled in, or how do you get to do that? Or it's just sort of slots you can find between client work?
Yep. So one thing I tend to do, Nick, and I suggest to, to potential clients and clients that I have, is look at your week, and there's usually a day that's a little bit, the most quietest day in the week. It might be the Monday, it might be the Friday, and a good way of, allocating some time, a couple of hours, in that day to something in your business. And this is where you set goals, right? So what area in your business is, probably in dire need of your attention, and start there, sort of thing. And then by creating the goals and breaking them down, that will then every week you'll be achieving one bit of it, and then, it will build up. So then what would happen is, over 4 weeks, you've achieved something you thought you couldn't do.
Stephanie, I've got a question.
Sure.
How important is it to actually break down and become very specific about your target audience?
Okay, so it is important, but here's the other thing, right? And this is where people tend to sort of fall on their swords. A niche doesn't have to be just a target audience. It could be also what you want to be known for, okay? Because when you know what you want to be known for, that's going to attract, different business owners as well. And then, like for me personally, I didn't know who my ideal client was initially. Okay, so I worked with different, I worked with different business owners, and this is another really good exercise. Think about the business owners you've worked with and see who you've enjoyed working with and not so much. And then that's one way of sort of, narrowing down who you want to work with. Does that help?
Okay, thank you.
Got another question in here in chat there from Janine. Where do you store all of your documents when you that you spoke about with the systems and processes?
Yep, so it could be a Google Drive document if you use, if you're a Google person, or it could be, I use Microsoft. So, it just depends, what you use on a daily basis. And it's a live document, right? So it's supposed to be, supposed to be adding to it. You know, you might be working on something and you go and you keep it open, right? Because then when you remember something, it's so important just to go, oh, let me just put that in here for a minute. And then it just builds slowly.
Actually, I'm really curious about your guest column writing in a newspaper or magazine. That's almost like the epitome of being famous. But first of all, I mean, you mentioned you got that call out there, well, you responded to a call out on Source Bottle, but what sort of tips or sort of process do you have about, you know, if you're contributing on a regular basis to a publication like that, and how do you go about it?
Okay, so this is the great thing, right, about repurposing content, Nick, right? So I had to provide an article, you know, once every 2 months at least. And I used some of my blogs because, you know, that is your article right there. I mean, I tailored it to them, but this is the great thing about repurposing. You know, I have a blog about the 7 foundations in business, you know, like when you repurpose something you've done, it's endless sort of thing. And it's not just used once. If you're just using it once, there's something really wrong, you know? So that's what I used. I used my blogs, and I still work on my blogs as well and create new blogs, but I'll be repurposing a lot next year.
Actually, I'm really curious about that there. In terms of everyone that's on the call here today, how many people are actively blogging? So they're creating blog posts, and who's not actively doing it? Maybe know that you should, but not. So if you are actively blog posting, just type a Y into chat. If you're not yet, or you're irregular, or you're sort of know it's important you're getting onto it, just type an N in chat there. Let's just get a bit of a read on the room at the moment, because it sounds like it's a really good place to start in terms of delivering content in other areas.
So we had a question, Nick, just before you asked that, whether repurposing affects SEO with blogs. And I know for a fact that if you change 30% of it and then you re-upload it, it's fine. That's what I've heard. So, and you know what else is really good for blogs? It could be a question from a potential client that you keep getting asked, right? So for example, when I started out, when I became a business manager, so when I translated my skills from the corporate world into small business world, I kept getting the question, what is the difference between a business manager and a virtual assistant? So I created a blog about it, because I thought, what better way to direct people that need that education piece? I'd answer them, but then I'd say, look, there is a blog on my website if you want to go have a look at that as well. Yeah, sure.
So some of your questions or some of your content for your blog are the questions you get on a daily basis. Absolutely. And they're nuggets of gold, because if one person's asking that question, I can guarantee you, Nick, someone else is thinking it as well. I'm on their website and a little confused.
That might tie in. Nick, remember a couple of times in the past at these smashing nights, you talked about a couple of online apps that you can find out what people are asking Uncle Google about. It'd be that type of question, isn't it? So that sounds like, Paul, that it was Answer the Public. Yes, yeah. There was two. Yeah, Answer the Public, and the
second one was Answer Socrates.
Yes, him.
Yep.
Yeah.
So answerthepublic.com, answersocrates.com, they both do the same job, but they certainly give you some topics there that people are actively searching for right now in order to write their content for. Yeah. And I think plus the questions that people already ask you when you're in your sales process.
Yeah, because I said, Steph, I don't know what people are asking other people. I know what they ask me when they come to me. But I wonder what they're asking other people about the services that I ultimately provide. But that's where we could find out, isn't it?
Mm-hmm. It is, but sometimes if you jump on discovery calls, Paul, or if people asking you those questions, it's good to be mindful of them. Like just being conscious of them, because if you're getting that question more than once, then you could create a blog about, or a FAQ even about it.
Yeah.
So Lara asked source bottle. There's something a little bit confusing about it. Lara, do you want to just come off mute and ask me?
Yes, thank you. I'm really enjoying the presentation, getting a lot out of it tonight. Appreciate that. Thank you. So I'm just on their website, and I'm in this section asked that talks about how does it work, and then it's got separated journalists and bloggers, and then businesses and PRs, and then sources. So do I put myself in under the right businesses and PRs? I'm not sure which bit do I respond to. Like I've signed up, I've created an account, but then I don't know what to do next. Businesses and PRs, the next step is to subscribe to find giveaways, or
So your question, Lara, is are you a journalist or a blogger, or are you seeking publicity? Is that the question?
Yeah, we'll see. I'm not a blogger yet because I'm still getting my website together, but I would be somebody that's willing to be interviewed to put together an article to help people understand. I'm a business awards advocate, why I think it's important for business owners to go for and win business awards. So does that make me a source, or do I give them a case study? I'm not really sure where I fit in.
Can you put the URL in the comments for me, Lara, so I can have a quick look for you?
I'm just on the sourcebottle.com site under the tab How It Works.
I've just dropped it into chat now.
Okay, so you just create a new account. Okay, so they're the different people that that are on Source Bottle. So people who are seeking articles, people who are seeking, looking into the publicity. So it's like it's a platform where journalists can go, and people like small business owners can go to see if So it's a two-way street, if that makes sense.
Okay.
So those two accounts, or those two sections, there's a box on each of them. One is I'm a journalist or a blogger. So that means you're looking for people to interview, or I'm a source seeking publicity, means that you want to be interviewed and contribute. Now, there are two different account types, but you can sign up for both. So, if you, and I think for you, Lara, you're probably going to be signing up for I'm a source seeking publicity, because you're looking for opportunities there to respond to journalists and the hope that they're going to interview you.
If they haven't changed their screen, we click the one.
And Jane, we're not hearing you there at the moment, so you're not muted, but I think your microphone might be a bit funny.
I could hear her.
But if you speak clearly, I will try and read your lips and interpret to everyone.
I could hear you, Jane.
I can hear you.
Oh, hang on, it could be me because I can no longer hear Paul.
Oh, I think it is you. I'll quickly say that if it hasn't changed on the home page of Source Bottle, you click the one that is on our right, and then it will ask you for categories, and then you'll start receiving emails pretty much tomorrow.
Okay, sorry, I'm on the mobile app. That might be why I'm not getting the same view.
It was actually Nick had someone on from Source Bottle, and I reckon it would have been about 2 years ago. I went back to that actual video on YouTube on Nick's page and watched that bit again. So if you go into Nick's YouTube channel and search for Source Bottle, it might come up. It was the
Actually,
lady.
the person that presented that was Kate Engler.
That's it.
So,
That's the one.
yep.
Yeah. So
Search
if
for
you go
Kate
and watch
Engler's
that,
name, you'll find it.
and she shows you how to set it up properly.
Beautiful. Thanks so much, guys. Appreciate that. Cheers.
And I'll just drop the YouTube channel into chat as well too, so you can go and find it. You should be able to search in the channel to find it.
I'm good for plugging you lately, Nick.
So what was that, Jane?
I'm good for plugging you lately.
Oh, thank you. Thank you.
I was in the BX Hour of Power today and hopefully got you another viewer.
Excellent. 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 All right. Any other questions there for Steph?
I was just going to say that when you're talking about posts and that consistency, we do quite a bit on LinkedIn because that's obviously where the construction audience is, and even reposts and the likes as well. But through doing that, we've actually been approached by, we're actually going to be a co-author of a book, which is part of the construction coach. There's 40 of us involved in that. We've just been approached by another business magazine as well. So you never know when you're posting these things that other people see what you're doing. And like I say, don't sell to people, like give good content and obviously put some of what you do in there occasionally. But people are looking for people to add value to what they do would be the number one key. Don't go selling to people. But once you start joining those types of platforms, your world just gets bigger and bigger. So there's a lot of value. And I realize that a lot of people, the time to put into doing things like that, but it's not actually that large. And like I say, you can repost things, you can like I say, even add different content, move it around a little bit, see something that's a good bit of content from someone else, put it in there as well. But that just circulates that process. So that's what I've found lately, that there's a lot of power in that as well. Yeah.
Congratulations, David. That's massive, right?
Yes, it is. That's right.
Stephanie, I'm a bit like Jane. I used to be a blogger, but I'm not sure how you said it, Jane, but I fell off the perch and gone back there. But what I've done instead is done video. And I have found that the video is far better with my target audience than the blog posts. And I can repurpose the video in terms of audio, in terms of text, whatever I want to do.
Perfect. Yep. As long as you're repurposing and you're reusing, that's all that matters, right? It doesn't have to be a blog. It could be a blog, podcast, YouTube, whatever it may be.
Yep.
But you've got that core, that content driver sort of thing to help,
Yep.
the wheels go along.
Thank you, Steph.
Actually, one of the things I should say with video as well too, because I agree with Peter there too, is that I use an app called grain.ai, which I had previewed here on the show before. But what Grain does is it joins your meeting, it records your meeting video. It will then also do the transcription. So it transcribes, pretty much immediately. So it's pretty much available straight away. And the other thing it does too, which I really like about it, is it summarizes the text as well too, so that you can just look through the summary there and you can pull out all the main points. And often they're good enough for headings for your blog post. So you can actually just pull it out. You can then just go and search for those sections or search for the keywords, pull it out, and then either you rewrite it or you give it to someone else to write some of the text. And my team, they'll actually write up some of the text from the content that I've already produced some videos. So that might be helpful as well too. Oh, I've got another question here. From Mel. Mel says, Steph, you may have covered this, but what do you recommend when it comes to scheduling social media, paying someone to post for you or using software?
Okay, so that's really two different things, right? to schedule it, there are, you know, platforms out there. So I use one called Tumblr, where once the posts are created, I do put them in there and you can schedule them. But to create social media posts, that takes time. That takes a bit of time. So you might want to work with a social media manager, or if you have the time, to create it all in advance yourself. Does that answer the question, Mel? But you want to run with a marketing strategy, as I mentioned, so you're not just posting, you know, here and there and that sort of thing.
Yes, thanks. That does answer it. I was thinking more with the scheduling, just using a tool. I've heard sometimes that you're penalized if you're not using like the native tools, but I wasn't sure how much of an issue that really was. So whether you pay someone just to post your content for you, but if you're using a tool, I'm happy to use a tool.
Haven't had that issue, to be honest, Mel. I don't know if anyone else here has any feedback on that. Because I know
there is a wee issue with it, in that yes, the platforms want you to post natively to their platform, so it's always better if you can post directly to the platform, not through a tool. But the problem with that is that you know, the time that your audience is going to read your stuff may not be the time that you're around to post it. So then it's often you know, better to use a tool. But one of the ways to get around the fact that maybe it's just not going to get that same sort of reach if you're not posting it on the platform, using a tool to post it, is just to create more posts, and you can actually share that exact same post multiple times. So you might share that same post in the morning, afternoon, and evening, because not everyone's going to see it anyway. And so, you know, repeating it is fine. So you can sort of get around the rules by you know, using the same content and just repeat it a number of times.
Thank you. That's a really good tip. Thanks.
All right, a few other questions come. Oh, Melinda's just asking, what was the name of that scheduling tool, Steph? You mentioned one.
Oh, the one I use is called Publer, P-U-B-L-E-R.
Publer. Oh, I hadn't heard of that one. There's a new one. I'll have to check that one out.
Good one.
Thanks for that.
Can we do the lucky door prize, Nick? I think that's...
Yeah, there's a couple of other questions in here. I'm just grabbing.
Sorry.
What do we got? Meta Business Suite. Yes, that's another tool that you can use. So on Facebook and Instagram, you can use the Meta Business Suite for scheduling. So that's good. What do we got? Most social media platforms have their own built-in schedulers. Yes, they do. So if they've got them, you can use those. Only problem is that sometimes you want to schedule it across multiple platforms. So personally, we use TikTok, Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, LinkedIn. So we're across a number of platforms every day. So, you know, that's where you might want to use a centralized tool to share to all of them. All right, what have we got? Okay, Rod is asking, how big is the retail business compared to the online business, and where are we heading? So selling products, how big is retail versus online, and where do you think we're heading as far as selling products?
I know I know selling products online has become such a big deal. I don't know the space so well because I work more in the service side of things. But, you know, I don't know if, you know, you guys have seen, there are a lot of major retailers. They're either merging or they're closing down. I think it's, you know, it's a tale of the time sort of thing here in Australia. So I think e-commerce is becoming really big for that reason, just to, you know, cut on overheads and the rest of it. And, you know, with technology these days, you can sell anything online.
That might be another topic here, is to delve into some e-commerce at some point. If anyone, you know, people are interested in e-commerce, we can get someone who's an expert in that sort of field there to come and talk about, you know, tips and tricks and what to look out for in that e-commerce space. So it's a lot easier than it used to be. All right, well, I think that's probably what we've got time for there. Well, thanks, David, for that other recommendation for Zoho Social as well too. So if you want to be as successful as David is to get all those opportunities, he's obviously using Zoho Social. So try that one. That must be the secret, right? All right, well, let's give Steph a big rousing round of a virtual applause. Thank you for sharing your knowledge, your wisdom, and some of those tips and those 7 business fundamentals. Hopefully everyone followed along with the worksheet that you provided. If you haven't quite finished it, then it's probably a good exercise to go through and finish that sheet to do an evaluation of your business. And remember, Steph's got on her website that link there where you can sort of download it, and you can continue there as well too. Which probably brings me to the point. It's probably a good time to save the chat now. If you've saved it previously, this will just save it to that same document. If you click those 3 little dots down the bottom of the chat, then you can save the chat, so you've got that link as well too. We've got another raised hand there, so probably a lucky last there from Mark. So Mark, what do you got for us?
I don't know how that hand went up, mate.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I didn't mean to put you on the spot there.
Just in the chat there, and I don't know how the hand went up. I was way outside.
Oh, there you go.
No, I learned lots tonight. Thank you all.
Excellent, excellent. And you're from Hamilton, is it? Hamilton?
Yeah, that's right.
Hamilton, New Zealand. So there we go. Excellent. All right. Well, that's probably what we've got time for. Steph, we do have a door prize, don't we? So I think we should draw that. But tell us what the door prize is.
Sure. So it's an hour. You get an hour of my time. We can talk about any of the foundations or any area in your business that you're feeling stuck on and need a sounding board and just need, someone to help you, take the next steps with it. So that's tonight's door prize.
Excellent. So that's the time to bring all of your dirty business secrets to you to try and sort of air that laundry there where you know things are not going so well, and getting that help there to really get on top of things. Excellent. Sounds good. Sounds like I need that actually.
Washing basket, eh?
Yeah, that's it. All right. Well, let's bring up the wheel of names and let's draw our door prize. All right. So everybody's name is in the wheel. So we'll spin the wheel and let's get that virtual drum roll, please, and see who our lucky winner is tonight. And it is Will. Remember, you have to be on the call to win. So, Will, are you still here? Actually, he is. I can see Will there.
Yes, I am. I'm on.
Fantastic. Excellent. Well, you are the lucky winner tonight, Will.
Wow. Thank you. Thank you, Steph. And
no worries. I look forward to catching up with you, Will. I've just put my details in the chat. Yeah, congratulations, Will. And
thank you.
Maybe, you can just reach out to me.
We'll connect you up. So tomorrow, actually, Will, there's the details of Steph and chat. We'll connect you up by email anyway, give you a mutual intro, and then you can organise between yourselves how to make all that happen.
Okay.
Sounds like fun.
Thank you.
Excellent. And Will, you've been a long time supporter and sort of along here. So persistence pays off, doesn't it?
Let's see it happen.
There you go. Excellent.
Thank you.
All right. Well, that is our show for tonight. So if you'd like to watch it again, or you'd like to recommend it to someone else to go through and watch as well, it will be up on our YouTube channel tomorrow. So be up there tomorrow afternoon. The link to the YouTube channel is in chat now. So if you've not subscribed to it, go through and subscribe. If you click the little bell on the right of the subscribe button, after you subscribe, you'll see it then you'll get a reminder as soon as that video has been uploaded. I remember Facebook as well too. If you are not a member of the Business Owners Smashing It Online Facebook group, go along and join that. That's where we'll post a lot of these apps and tools, and we get a bit of discussion coming up as well too. And what else do we have here tonight? I think so that's YouTube. Oh, and next week, we'll be here again next week as well too. So it'll be the same time, same place, and we will have another topic and another speaker almost as good as Steph. Now, everyone's good in their own areas, and we'll be back here broadcasting once again. Anyone wants any sort of recommendations, help at all on the online tools and apps, or anything in your online marketing, your website, your CRMs, whatever it happens to be, then feel free to reach out to me, or go to smashgo.co, and you can see what is available there as well too. But always happy to chat to anyone. But apart from that, thanks again, Steph, for your time. We can see you've got a family business because you had your daughter popping in, just checking up to make sure that you're okay there. And I think everyone can agree that she did an awesome job tonight. So thanks very much. And we'll see you all again next week. Have a good week. Thank you for tuning in and listening to the Business Owners Smashing It Online podcast. You can also find me on social media and online. Just search for Business Owners Smashing It Online and Nick Cree, spelled Nikcree, all one word. If you like this and want to hear more, subscribe now. Until next time, don't be a slave to your business. Get your business working for you.